So our whole leadership curriculum that we'll be looking at is focused on Patrick Lencioni's 5 dysfunctions of a team. And I'm just going to give you an overview now so you know them all, and then as we go through the leadership curriculum we spend quite a bit of time looking at each one. So here are the 5 functions that we're talking about. At the bottom we have trust. And in its dysfunction, it's an absence of trust. Trust in this model is a trust where we choose to believe that everybody in the team that we're working with are there for the results that we have agreed to, the purpose of the team. So it's not a trust based on lived experience. It's not a trust that says, because Joe Bloggs has repeatedly lived up to my expectations, now I trust Joe Bloggs. It's more because Joe's in the room, even though I don't know them, they're in the room for the purpose of this team, and I choose to be vulnerable, to trust, and that they're here for the same purpose. So the positive here is that we do trust one another. The currency of trust is vulnerability. That I can be vulnerable about my weaknesses, about what I'm not sure about, just about who I am, and I can let people see that because I'm trusting that it's not going to be used against me. The opposite, when we're invulnerable, when we have to guard ourselves and protect ourselves, it means we don't go deep and we don't really know. We're spending so much energy protecting ourselves that we can't really engage in the purpose of the team. So the next function is conflict, or that can be a bit of a hiccup word in the church, so you might want to think of it as passionate debate. Whoops. In its dysfunction, there is a fear of conflict. Some of us are wired personality-wise where conflict's uncomfortable anyway, but in a real dysfunction, there's a fear for everybody, even those who might not be wired to be more harmonising. But in its health, we're talking about team members who don't hesitate to passionately engage in ideological conflict. So I'm just going to write that up. The key thing here being ideological. We're not talking about personal. This is not getting at people. It's about passionately debating ideas and concepts. So when we can do that, and we can do that because we trust and we don't have to protect ourselves, we get everything out on the table. Elephants are named, we get all points of view, and so we can really look at the issues that we're there to make decisions on because it's all been named and it's out there. As opposed to when we have a fear, we're veiled, we're guarded, we don't actually get everything out there. Conflict or debate is really important because it enables us to make good decisions and therefore make good commitments to those decisions. When we've had really good debate, we've named all the issues, we've had that kind of unfiltered conflict around ideas, then it means that as a team we can commit to the decisions wholeheartedly, even decisions that we might not personally agree with, because in the debate stage our opinions have been considered and genuinely listened to. We can commit to the team's decision because we know that we were genuinely listened to. There's a great saying, if you don't weigh in, you don't buy in. So the conflict is where we weigh in, and that enables us to buy in. Even if it's not the first choice that we would have made, we commit as a team. The dysfunction is the lack of commitment. And I'm sure we've all seen that in different groups we're part of, where you have that veiled kind of discussion, and then you have the meeting after the meeting in the car park, and then you come back a month later and you're relitigating everything that you thought you had decided on because people hadn't really committed. They hadn't weighed in, so they haven't bought in, so we go round yet again. And it's intensely frustrating for all of us and wastes a lot of time and energy. Commitment's really important because then we know what we're committing to, so we can hold each other to account. And the important thing about accountability is that in its health, this is all team members not hesitating to hold each other to account. So it's not the team leader, it's all holding each other to account. And we're holding to account on both outcomes, what we said we would do, and behaviour, who we've agreed we are, what's our culture. And its dysfunction, it's about avoidance of accountability. We hesitate to hold each other to account. We're worried it might impact our relationships with other people or with our mates that we work with. And so we hold back, and then we end up with outcomes aren't tracking as we expected, or we condone poor behaviour because we haven't said anything. We haven't checked in lovingly with the person about what's going on. You know, I noticed this, what's going on? And so we end up with the team kind of falling apart a bit because while we might have made commitments, we're not keeping track because we're not holding each other to account on both our behaviour and outcomes. And the whole point of all of this is for the results that we're here for. This is about what's the purpose of the team, what are we here to be focused on, what's all this work for. So when it's health, we have an unrelenting focus. As everybody has an unrelenting focus on the results. But in its unhealth, in its dysfunction, we have an inattention to results. And that inattention might be because of our own ego or status. For me, it could be, oh, I'm finally an archdeacon, now I can rest back on my laurels and just be glowing in the glory of being an archdeacon. I can imagine you're all really keen to be doing that yourselves. Or it might be about my career development, that I just want to get to the stage and it's about me. It's actually got nothing to do with the results of the team. It's just, this is a step in my career, so that takes me off focusing on the team results because I'm focused on me. Those are the types of things that mean that there's inattention to results. It can also be because we've made our division more important than the whole team. If you put it in, for example, maybe a church context, it might be that I might be involved in children and family ministry and I come to a leadership or a governance meeting and I've made children and family ministry more important than the health of the whole parish. So that takes my attention away from the key results of the whole team because I've been focusing on my individual division. And what we're aiming for is this unrelenting focus of all team members on the core results of the team. So this is what we're going to be looking at. We start with trust. We start down here with trust, and then we're going to jump up to results because there's no point going into conflict until we're clear what we're having the conflict about, and then we'll come back down and work our way through.